keep on prospering. And this man will keep America great. So now it is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce to you my friend and the 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And Vice President Mike Pence, thank you very much. Incredible. And hello to Fayetteville. Hello, Fayetteville. It's great to be here in North Carolina's 9th Congressional District with the hard-working patriots who believe in faith, family, God, and country. Thank you. Thank you. Tomorrow you'll head to the polls to elect a congressman who always puts America first, Dan Bishop. I've just come from a meeting with North Carolina officials representing communities hit by Hurricane Dorian, and I expressed the unwavering solidarity of the American people. We are behind you 100%. 100%. The prayers of our entire nation are with the citizens of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and everyone else that was in the storm's path. And I will say, I was called by the government of the Bahamas, and we're helping with the Bahamas. They were hit so hard. They were hit so hard. Who would believe it? We pledge the full support of the federal government through every step of the rebuilding process. And I will say, North Carolina in our country probably got hit the hardest. That was a little bit of a surprise. But I know one thing about North Carolina: you can take it and you'll build it quickly and you'll build it beautifully. And you'll be back sooner than anybody ever thought. And it'll be better than ever, right? No doubt about it. I also want to give a special recognition to the many non-governmental organizations doing so much to help people recover from Dorian. In particular, Franklin Graham. He's a wonderful guy. And he's got an organization, Samaritan's Purse, based right here in North Carolina, and the work that Franklin and his family and all of those that are with Franklin Graham, we want to thank them. They're special, great people. Great people. Thank you, Franklin. Thank you. Incredible job. He does such a great job all over. Wherever there's a problem, you see Samaritan's Purse and Franklin and his people. We love the people of this state, and we will never, ever leave your side. North Carolina will truly recover so fast. I know you people so well. Let's not even talk about it. Let's not even talk about it. We're here tonight to discuss the extraordinary progress we're making as a nation and how to ensure this amazing resurgence keeps on going and going strong. In just over 2 years, we've taken this big, beautiful ship, and it's being turned around very quickly. Nobody thought this would happen. You know, we won the greatest election, certainly one of them, but maybe the greatest. But we won one of the greatest. Let's say one. This way I won't be criticized. They'll say, you know, George Washington had a great election too. The fake news, right? The fake news. But we won one of the greatest elections in history. And because of that, and you would be in big trouble if we didn't, I can tell you that. You'd be, instead of going up, we were heading in the wrong direction. We have the #1 economy anywhere in the world. And every time I meet a foreign leader, almost every time, they say, congratulations on what you've done with the economy. I said, I didn't do it. I just set a certain path. The people of the United States did it. #1 anywhere in the world. And they tried to do the recession thing. You know, they tried the Russia thing. That didn't work. They tried many other things. I always say the media and their partner, the Democrats. I wouldn't mind fighting the Democrats, but we really have to look at it as a twosome. It's the media and the Democrats. It's one and the same. We're rebuilding our military, defending our sovereignty, and reclaiming our dignity as a nation. America is winning again, and America is respected again. They respect America. By the way, I have about like 10 women in the front row, and you come from North Carolina, and they travel all over the place. Hold up your hands. These are great women. I see them so much. And I must say, they have other things to do. They look rich as hell to me. I don't know. How many is this? How many rallies have you come to? They can't count it. They said all of them except for 2. That's a lot of rallies. And it all emanates from this area. That's so great. Well, at least you won't have to travel so far for this one, right? Thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate it. Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you. Really incredible people. But you know, we've created 6 million new jobs since Election Day. And I couldn't say that in my initial rallies because nobody would have believed it. 6 million new jobs. More Americans are working today than ever before in the history of our country. Almost 160 million Americans. Nobody would have thought that was possible. We wouldn't have been able to say it, actually. We've now had 13 straight months of wage gains of at least 3%, so that people that worked so hard. You remember I used to say during the rallies, before we won, people worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and they made less money than they made 21 years before. And now wages are going up, the economy is doing great, and jobs have never been better. So importantly, more than 7 million Americans have been lifted off of food stamps. Nearly 600,000 Americans entered the labor force last month alone. Think of that. And the unemployment rate for African Americans just reached another brand new, yesterday, all-time low in the history of our country. How do you lose that debate? Remember, I used to say, what do you have to lose? Well, now you have the best unemployment numbers, employment and unemployment numbers that you've ever had as African Americans, as Asian Americans, as Hispanic Americans. The best numbers we've ever had. And by the way, African American youth unemployment has also reached the lowest level ever recorded in history. And the labor force participation rate for women is at the highest level now in 15 years, and soon will be 35 years, and soon, I promise, will probably end up being better than ever. I can tell you the unemployment numbers for women are the best they've been now in 72 years. So I always say kiddingly, I'm sorry I didn't make it historic, but you know what? It's going to be historic very soon. It's going to be historic very soon. And here in North Carolina, over 230,000 more people now have jobs, and small business formation has skyrocketed by more than 25%. Amazing. But the radical Democrats want to dismantle, demolish, and destroy everything that you've gained. And they will do it, and it won't take that long. And that's why we need Dan Bishop and Greg Murphy. We need them. We need them going down to Congress and helping. But they can do it. It's also why we need 4 more years. It has to seed us like a plant. We've changed things, right? Keep America great. We've changed things. But it's got to grow. It's got to develop those roots. And once it does, it's going to be very hard for them to destroy what we've done. Very hard. And that's really why I consider this election. Look, we had a very, very special day in 2016. It was a very special time. A very special time. It's an incredible day, an incredible month, an incredible year. And I don't know that you can ever compare anything to it, but I can say this. 2020 is essentially just as important because they'll try and take it away. Whether it has to do with religion, our evangelicals are here tonight and they're all over the place. And what we've done for them and for religion is so important. You know, the other side, I don't think they're big believers. They're not big believers in religion, that I can tell you. You listen to some of them. They're trying to put out little statements. They're not working too well. Those statements are a little bit sort of not too good, huh? What is the word we want to use here? A little... No. They're pushing a little hard and it's not working. To stop the far left, you must vote in tomorrow's special election. So important. Or get your votes in early. I think a lot of... Who voted early for Dan Bishop? Good. Well, that's good. But the big thing is tomorrow. Tomorrow's the election, and you'll get out. To protect your family, you must defeat open borders. And you have a Democrat named Dan McCready, and he wants open borders. He wants sanctuary cities. He's not going to protect your Second Amendment. He's doing nothing on your second. You know, North Carolina is a very big Second Amendment state. And Dan Bishop, Greg Murphy, these guys, they're going to protect your Second Amendment. But one of the biggest issues in this election is, in fact, sanctuary cities. McCready supports sanctuary city policies that force prisons and jails to release criminal aliens directly into your neighborhoods. Get out, go ahead, go into the neighborhood. Go into, what's your neighborhood? Where do you live? What? Rutherford County. Okay. So, how do you feel about having them release hardened, horrible criminals into Rutherford County? I don't think so. But your whole state, it's honestly, can I be honest? It's crazy what's happening. This whole thing with sanctuary cities. And you go to California, which is so many sanctuary cities, they don't know what's happening out there. You have people that want to get rid of those sanctuary cities. They just aren't able to do it with the people that get elected. A lot of illegal voting going on out there, by the way. A lot of illegal voting. In August, McCready said it was, quote, the right call to set illegal alien criminals loose in the great state, I'm using the words great state, he doesn't, of North Carolina. With the support and encouragement of McCready, sanctuary jurisdictions in North Carolina have released thousands of dangerous criminal aliens into your communities. And you see it, you see it. The charges against these freed criminals include sexual assault, robbery, drug crimes, kidnapping, and homicide, murder. Why would you do it? Why would you do it? What is it? Explain it. Just recently, Mecklenburg County set free an illegal alien charged with first-degree rape and crimes against a child. Support for sanctuary cities is disloyalty to American citizens. And McCready wants sanctuary cities with all of their protections for people that are serious criminals. Tomorrow is your chance to send a clear message to the America-hating left, and it's got to be. And by the way, we're building that wall, and it's going up very big. And you think it's easy to get money when you have the entire Democrat Party and they control the House, and we want to change that. We want to flip the House. We'll get so much. It'll be amazing what we can do for our country. We don't want dangerous criminal aliens roaming free in North Carolina. We want to take care of it. This state should be a sanctuary for law-abiding Americans, not for criminal aliens. Our great Republican candidate, Dan Bishop, will fight with everything he has to stop sanctuary cities and defend the people of this great state. Dan, come on up. Dan Bishop, everyone, get out and vote. Come on up, Dan.
Hello, North Carolina. Hello, Fayetteville. Hello, 9th District of North Carolina. Mr. President, we're not tired of winning. We want to keep on winning. And tomorrow, Tuesday, September 10, 2019, we're going to win the 9th District of North Carolina. We've all watched as the Democratic Party the Socialist Democrat Party seeks the president's destruction every day. We've seen a dishonest media. Serve as their handmaidens and their allies in that mission. We've watched as the greatest fighter ever to occupy the White House has pushed them all off. Mr. President, you don't need North Carolina, the 9th District. You got someone? All right. Got someone heated over here. Give them some space.
We need a doctor in the house, please. Doctor, please. Doctor in the house, thank you. Take your time, please. Take your time. We have plenty of time. Thank you. Take your time. Sorry. Thank you, doctor. Take your time. People have been staying outside for 2 days to get in, so this happens. Thank you. Thank you, doctor. Who? Doing better? Good. That's good. That's good. That's great. That's really great. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's really great. Thank you very much. I guess Dan's speech wasn't so good. What do you? That's great. Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, law enforcement. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I trust that person will be okay. Let's all say a prayer for that person. Make sure they're all right. Yeah, because that's what we do. We pray. And I share your values. I'm not ashamed of your values. I'm going to defend your values in Washington, D.C. As this great fighter faces all those long odds, the socialist Democrats, the fake media, the last thing he needs is for the 9th District to send him another Nancy Pelosi clone. President Trump needs nobody else in Washington who supports sanctuary cities and counties here in North Carolina or anywhere else. What's going to happen tomorrow on Tuesday, September 10, is the 9th District is going to send a congressman with backbone who can stand up to the smears and the lies of the lying fake news media and support the President of the United States as he keeps America great. And what I need you to do, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, I need you to vote. I need you to vote. But that's not all. I need you to vote. But beyond that, take a lesson from President Donald J. Trump. Don't rely on them to get our message out. Take out your phone. Go to votedanbishop.com. I'm going to repeat that. Go to votedanbishop.com. And right there at the top of that website, you're going to see a video featuring the President of the United States telling you to vote for right Dan, not wrong Dan. And right below that video, that little frame, you're going to see a button, 3 buttons to share that video. And you don't have to rely on that news media. You can use those buttons and send that out to all of your friends on Facebook, on Twitter, on email, so they'll know that President Trump can have a fighter for the values of the 9th District in Washington, D.C. Tomorrow's our chance. Let's tell them. Let's show them. Go out and vote for Right Dan. Vote for Dan Bishop tomorrow, September 10. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, President Trump. God bless.
Thank you, Dan. That was a good job. That was a good job. He means it, too. He's great. Get out and vote tomorrow for Dan Bishop, please. So we've had great support over the last 6 months in particular from a man who happens to be your senator right now. And we need him to keep going because he has been fantastic. And I believe he's here tonight. I just came in. The weather wasn't so great to be traveling today. They said, maybe we could skip North Carolina today, sir. I said, no, thank you. I said, no, thank you. Can you imagine? And by the way, I have to say, we have a big crowd in here, right? You have to see outside. Thousands and thousands of people who couldn't get in. And when people wait 2 or 3 days to come in, and especially these first rows, I just want to tell you, we really thank you. Incredible. But Tom Tillis has really worked with us over the last period of time. He's recently introduced a bill to give American victims the right to sue sanctuary cities. That's a big deal. And hold them accountable for the lives that they've shattered. But to pass the bill, we need more Republicans. Tomorrow, there is another crucial special election. And we have a fantastic guy running in that one, too, Republican Greg Murphy. He looks like he's in good shape, but you've got to get out. So I want to introduce Tom Tillis, and I want to introduce Greg Murphy, and I want to thank you both. Thank you. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Greg. So Greg Murphy is looking to, like Dan, cut your taxes, defend your Second Amendment, support our policies, really, really support our military and our veterans. We have rebuilt our military. Greg Murphy, come on up for a second here. Greg Murphy, come up. Come up, Greg. Come on up, Greg. Come on up, Greg, just for a second. Then we'll get back to business. We got to do this, and I don't know. He's been a great champ. Thank you, Greg. Come. Please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Hello, Fayetteville. Hello, Fayetteville. It is a pleasure to be amongst people who believe in God, country, and family. Our Democrats have given up on God. They've pushed it away from our country. They want to give our country away, and they want to destroy the nuclear family. We have a president, a bold man, who has brought those three principles back to our faith and to our country. We need to come out and support him. So I ask you tomorrow, please, it was actually good for me to see that actually few of you have already voted, because every single one of you needs to show up tomorrow and support Dan Bishop as your next congressman, or actually me, if I'll be your next congressman. We are here to serve you, we are here to help our president, and we are here to keep America great. God bless you all.
Good luck tomorrow. I'll talk to you soon, okay? Good luck. Good luck tomorrow, Greg. Get out there and vote for those two guys. They're terrific. We're thrilled to be joined tonight by many more terrific Republican leaders. A man who's really been stepping up to the front. He defended Justice Kavanaugh when he was treated so badly. I've never seen anything like the treatment that Justice Kavanaugh received. And everybody respects him and everybody likes him and I like him, and we used to fight like hell, right? The two of them. But we don't fight anymore. We like each other a lot, and he's a special man and he's become a special friend. Senator Lindsey Graham. Another man who's a fighter. I guess we're all fighters. You have to be a fighter. You're not going to be here very long, I can tell you that. We got to fight them more than anybody else. But a man who's done an incredible job in Washington, took over a rough situation, and he's become the real leader. He is a leader like you haven't seen. And that's Republican leader Kevin McCarthy. Kevin. Kevin's working so hard for so many different people. He wants to see Dan and Greg win so badly. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it, leader. Representative David Roser. David, thank you. David Roser. He's done a fantastic job. Our Lieutenant Governor, who is going to be, I think, a highly competitive candidate for a very important race, Dan Forrest. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much, Dan. We also have North Carolina Republican Party Chair Michael Whatley. What a job he's done. And we have a man from North Carolina who loves his state. He fights so hard, he doesn't know what it is not to fight. You know who I'm talking about? They got it, Mark. They're all screaming, Mark Meadows. That's right. He's great. So many. Jim Jordan, Andy Biggs, Gates, and I just got so much. By the way, Devin Nunes. Devin Nunes. How about Devin? He was out there when it wasn't in vogue to be saying that Comey was a stone-cold liar and leaker. But he knew a long time, Devin Nunes. But Mark Meadows has been incredible. And do they love him in your state? Do they love Mark Meadows? Thank you, Mark. Also, a friend of mine who's been with us from the beginning. He's not a politician, but he might as well be one. He loves us, he loves this party, and he loves your state. Lives here, Louis DeJoy, one of the most successful people. Thank you, Louis, and your wife is doing a great job, Louis. And a very special thanks to my son, Don Jr. and Kimberly. Great job. Did Don Jr. give a good speech? I heard that. They all said he was on fire. Well, he's fighting. He loves his country. My son loves his country. My family loves his country. And you know, two people from your state that the First Lady, before she was First Lady, she said, you know, there are two people that are unbelievable. You gotta watch them. I said, I'm not interested. I'm too busy. No, you have to watch them. I've never seen, they're so great, they're so smart, they love the country, they love you. Diamond and Silk. They are incredible. Incredible people. Thank you very much. Thank you. What a job. And they're doing very well, I have to tell you that. Our shared Republican agenda is pro-worker, pro-jobs, pro-family, pro-growth, and 100% pro-American. And by the way, so is Doug Collins, and so is John Ratcliffe. Thank you, fellas. Thank you. Two incredible fighters also. For decades, our leaders put global interests and special interests ahead of your interests. You know that better than anybody, and this state knows it better than anybody. They traded away your factories, sold your future, squandered your tax dollars, sacrificed your security, and bogged us down in one foreign debacle after another. But all of that has changed. We're respected again. They're all saying, oh, gee, I hope he doesn't do this or that. They've taken advantage of us for years. And I have to say, sadly, in many cases, it's our allies that took the greatest advantage of this country. But now you finally have a president who understands that I'm not supposed to be the president of the world. I'm supposed to be the president of the United States of America. To bring back our jobs from other countries, we passed the largest package of tax cuts and reforms in American history. We've cut a record number of job-killing regulations. No president, no matter how long they serve, has gotten anywhere even close to what we've done with regulations, and that's one of the reasons our economy is so good. And we have tremendous potential upward. And China wants to talk. They want to talk. China's lost 3 million jobs. Thousands of companies are leaving China. The supply chain is crumbling because they can't pay the tariffs. And our country has taken over things that you would have never thought. As an example, hundreds of billions of dollars have been and are coming into our country in the form of tariffs. And China's eating the cost, which the fake news doesn't want to tell you. And out of the tens of billions of dollars that we've taken in, because of the fact that our great American patriot farmers have been targeted by China, they've been targeted because they know the farmers, like Trump, I love the farmers, so they targeted the farmers. And I said to Sonny Perdue, Secretary of Agriculture, Sonny, how much was it last year and the year before? Tell me. It was $12 billion and it was $16 billion. And out of the tariffs that we've taken in, we gave to our farmers for distribution, hopefully very good distribution, hopefully very even distribution. We've given them $28 billion so that they're whole. So that they're whole. Nobody would ever do that. Nobody would ever do that, I can tell you that right now. And our farmers know we have to fight. I see it all the time where some of the networks that are crazy, they have a group of farmers. In some cases, they have groups of women. They say, what do you think of President Trump? We like him a lot. We're with him all the way. And they want to turn off the cameras. They go crazy. But with the farmers, you know that. You ever see that? The 10 women? What do you think of President Trump? We love him. Where would I like to put you on television? I'll tell you right now. And they can't turn off those cameras fast enough. But they say it to the farmers. You voted for President Trump. Are you happy? And every one of them said, He did things that nobody has ever done before. Who would think of getting 12 billion plus 16 billion, $28 billion because they've been targeted? That's the amount. I asked Sonny, I said, Sonny, what's the amount they took out of our farmers? And it was 16 billion and the year before 12. And I said, Sonny, we got to make that up. And we made it up. Who would do that? Nobody would do that. First of all, nobody else ever had tens of billions of dollars pouring in from China because it's always been the other way around. China has taken advantage of our country for decades. Decades. And I guarantee you one thing, none of these Democrats, whether it's Pocahontas or Sleepy Joe, none of them would be able to do a thing about it. And nobody would ever think of helping the farmers who have been targeted by China. China made $500 billion over the last number of years. On a yearly basis, they steal our intellectual property, so many other things. So now it's just different. And now it's working the other way. And tariffs are a beautiful thing when you know how to use them. They're a beautiful thing. And I want China to do well, and I hope they do well, but they've had now the worst year in 57 years. I wonder why. I wonder why. And hopefully it'll all work out. We'll see. We're going to be talking next week. We're talking now. They're going to be coming to the United States in 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll see what happens. But unless we're going to make a good deal or a fair deal for our country, let's face it, we cannot go back to a situation where giving hundreds of billions of dollars to China becomes standard fare. Not going to happen. We can't do it. And we have many other countries also, but we'll worry about them a little bit later. Plenty of others. Plenty of others. They've taken advantage of our country like you wouldn't believe. And I've been saying this for many years. I was saying this when I was a private citizen. They take our jobs. They make our product. They sell the product into our country with no tax, no nothing. So we end up with closed factories, no jobs, no taxes, no nothing. And these other countries gain. As an example, Mexico, I must say, they've really helped us at the border. The Democrats will not do anything about these horrible open loopholes, which would be so good. So we're doing it a different way. And Mexico is now patrolling with 27,000 troops. They've never had 2 troops to it, our border. And you saw the numbers today. We're down approximately 57%. But our country could fix it so easy if the Democrats would sit with me for 15 minutes. But they don't want to do that because they want to have open borders. They want to have drugs pouring into our country. You have to have a wall and you have to stop it. And when you look at what's happening with human trafficking, and it's mostly women, they traffic in women. And they pour through our borders. Well, every inch of wall that we put up is vital. And we're putting up miles and miles. And we intend by next year, at the end of the year, to have anywhere between 400 and 500 miles of wall built. And this is serious wall. This is the real deal. Serious wall. And I want to thank our new Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, for the job he's done. And he views it really as a national security threat. And you have to. What can be much more threatening than people that want to pour across our borders? And we have the worst laws. We have the weakest laws in the history of any country. You can't do anything to stop them. You have a program, catch and release. You catch them, and then you have to release them. And they're supposed to come back to court in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and nobody shows up. And the Democrats don't want to fix it, so we're stopping them, so we don't even have to worry about court. We ended the last administration's cruel war on American energy. The United States is now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world. And for all of these crazy people, but they're not so crazy, they know what they're doing, that talk about Russia, 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 Russia's not too happy about that. Their primary source of income is oil and gas. And now we're bigger than Russia, bigger than Saudi Arabia, we're bigger than everybody, and we're doing great. So they're not exactly happy. The Russian hoax was a pure hoax. You saw that with Comey the other day. Yet every leading Democrat running for president pledges to ban the energy that drives our economy and wage and if you look at what's going on, your way of life is under assault by these people. I mean, I go out and sometimes I'll be at these huge audiences, and I wish we could have gotten a larger arena than this. We tried. I was even willing to stand out in the rain and get my hair soaking wet. But they said it was a little bit out of your district. And I said, I don't know if it looks good being out of your district. But I was willing to do it. I would have taken it. I would have been very proud to have done it. It would have shown it's my real hair, at least. It wouldn't be pretty. But it's my hair. May not be great, but I will say it's better than most of my friends who are the same age. A lot better. A lot. But I do, we had a different location, as you all know. And we said, let's do this one, it's bigger. And we put screens outside for all of the people. We have screens and loudspeakers and everything. It's really amazing what's going on out there. But after years of building up other countries, we are finally building up our country. That's the bottom line. And the last administration, with Biden and Obama at the helm, they tried to ram through one of the worst trade deals ever negotiated, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. You could have kissed many of your industries goodbye. TPP would have gutted the American auto industry. It would have been even worse than NAFTA. And we know how bad NAFTA was. All you have to do is, even to this day, look around at all those empty plants where people moved down and companies moved down to Mexico. Not under the USMCA. We got to get Nancy Pelosi to put it up for a vote, make it bipartisan. She'll have tremendous Democrat support. The farmers want it, the unions want it, the manufacturers want it. And by the way, 600,000 manufacturing jobs in this country. Remember, you would need a magic wand. You can't do that anymore. Well, we did it. But we've got to get USMCA put up for a vote by the Democrats. But in my first week in office, I proudly withdrew from that job-destroying TPP catastrophe. And we're replacing one of the worst trade deals ever made by any country. You can go back as far as you want, NAFTA, the disaster of NAFTA. So whatever you do, start talking to your people. We need a vote on the USMCA. That's United States, Mexico, and Canada. And they've already voted. They want it, and we want it. And it's great for the farmers. It's great for everybody. We're also aggressively combating a problem that you have in North Carolina, a problem that we have in almost all states, the opioid epidemic. Last year, we saw the first nationwide decline in drug overdose deaths in nearly 31 years. And at the center of the American drug crisis is the border crisis. Criminal cartels smuggle vast quantities of lethal narcotics across our southern border, including heroin, meth, cocaine, and fentanyl. 100,000 people a year die from what comes across our southern border, and we can't get the Democrats to help us in sealing it even tighter. We got to get them. We got to get them. We got to get them. So if you want to stop the drug smugglers, the human traffickers, the vicious MS-13 gang members, and by the way, thank you to ICE. These people go into those. They go into those nests. We call them nests. These are vicious, vicious people. We go into the nest with our ICE people, and, you know, for them, it's another day at the office. There aren't too many people in this room that want to do it for a living. Let me see. That guy could. Maybe him. Maybe her. Right? Maybe her. But it's a rough job, and they get so little praise for the job they do, so dangerous. These are many killers in those gangs, and we're taking them out of our country by the thousands. MS-13. And as you know, Democrats even want to give free health care to illegal immigrants. As long as I'm your president, I will never, ever let Democrats take away your health care and give it away free to people that have entered our country illegally. We can't do that. It's a tremendous incentive to come in. Democrats also want to bring in unlimited numbers of foreign refugees from overseas, all at the expense of supporting their own communities. Republicans, no matter what you do, where you are, we want people to obey our laws. We want people that are going to help our country. The Democrat Party has never been farther outside of the mainstream. Every major Democrat running for president supports a massive government takeover of health care that would raid Medicare, force private doctors out of medicine, and lead to the rationing of life-saving treatments. And you know, they're going to take away your private health care, your private insurance. 180 million people will lose with what they want to do. It's a disaster. You know, it's like, did you ever really sort of feel where you don't even have to treat people nicely? You don't have any choice. You have to vote for me. I can leave right now. I can say, North Carolina, I've had it with you. I'm leaving right now. And you know what? You got to go out and vote. What are you going to do? Put one of these crazy people running our country again? But it's never been so far left. I told the story the other day about a businessman I saw, one of the biggest in the country. You'd probably know his name, one of the biggest. He's hated me for 20 years, and I've hated him also. Okay? Now, they're going to go out tomorrow, breaking news. Donald Trump hates people. You're sort of right about that. I never liked this guy. And I see him in the White House. And I say, what are you doing here? And he goes, Mr. President. See, now he calls me Mr. President. He used to call me something else. Mr. President, I'm fighting for your victory. I said, you got to be kidding. He goes, honestly, you're doing a great job. But also, if this radical left gets in, they're going to take away everything and they're going to destroy our country. And for the first time, I like this guy. My administration is defending your right to choose the plan and the doctor that is best for you. Remember President Obama? 28 times. Remember, 28 times. They counted them, and there's much more than that, I would imagine, that you can choose your plan, you can choose your doctor. It didn't work out that way, did it? Obamacare. And we're keeping Obamacare alive. We got rid of the individual mandate, the worst part of Obamacare. We're keeping it and running it as well as it can, but the premiums are too high. The deductibles are through the roof. It's ridiculous. And we're coming up with Lindsey Graham and all of the folks, we're coming up with a great health care plan that if we take back the House, that's why Dan and Greg, if we take back the House, if we keep the Senate, maybe even increase it a little bit, wouldn't be bad. And on the assumption we keep the presidency, you're going to have great health care. Thank you. We almost had it. We had a man campaigning for 8 years to knock out Obamacare, and when he voted, it didn't work out that way, did it? We had it. We would have had it, but we're going to end up actually with a better plan. Sometimes through adversity, things work out better. We're going to end up with a better plan. You watch. We'll always protect patients with pre-existing conditions also, always. You have my word. Our ambitious campaign to reduce the price of prescription drugs has produced the largest decline in drug prices in more than 51 years. Virtually every top Democrat also now supports late-term abortion, ripping babies straight from the mother's womb right up to the moment of birth. And if you look at Virginia, the governor of Virginia, he was even talking about, essentially you would say, an execution. He was talking after the baby is born, the doctor will talk to the mother and they'll make a decision as to whether or not that baby lives. This is a radical Democrat idea. And that's why I've asked Congress to prohibit extreme late-term abortion, because Republicans believe that every child is a sacred gift from God. Democrats are now the party of high taxes, high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, and socialism. They're socialists. The Republican Party is the party of the American worker, the American family, and the American dream. Every day we're making good on the motto, promises made, promises kept. In fact, we are keeping even more promises by far than we made or than we promised. So many more. So many more. So many more. You know what we did with respect to people that are very sick or terminally ill, right? Right to Try. It's called, I love the name, Right to Try. We have some of the greatest doctors in the world, labs in the world, hospitals in the world, and we have incredible medicine that's prohibited from being used until it gets approval, and sometimes that approval can take many years. And I said, wait a minute, if a person is sick, and they've been trying to get this for 45 years, I said, if a person's sick and maybe terminally ill, why aren't we letting them try this new technology? And so many things are happening. And we did Right to Try, and it wasn't easy, but I was helped by Lindsey and a lot of great people. A lot of great people. All of them helped. Mark helped so much. All of them helped. Greg. We have had tremendous success. We had so many people wanting to help, but it was complicated, believe it or not, because the country didn't want the liability. I said, you know what you do? You draw up an agreement taking away the liability. They said, that's a good idea. The insurance companies and the drug companies were very unsure. This has been going on for many years. I got it done. The results have been unbelievable. Right to Try. Things that we never even talked about, we're getting done. And you know, maybe one of the biggest things is within about a month, we'll have close to 180 federal judges, including appellate division judges, including 2 great new Supreme Court justices. Justice Neil Gorsuch and Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who they put through hell. We passed something that they've wanted to do for half a century. We passed VA choice. So when you're great and honored veterans are waiting in line for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 days, 10 days, 2 months, they go to a private doctor, we pay for the bill, and they get themselves taken care of instead of dying, which was happening. And we also passed VA accountability on behalf of our great veterans. That means when they treat our veterans badly, and they wouldn't have done it in prime time, I can tell you, but when they treat our sick and troubled veterans badly, we can say, you're fired. Get the hell. It's called VA accountability. That's another one they've been trying. And in all fairness, the unions made it very tough. Civil service made it like almost impossible. Everyone said you'll never get it done. We got it done. I want to thank the Republican Senate. I want to thank some incredible people in the House of Representatives. And Kevin, I want to thank you because that was a great job you did on that one. That was a great job. Thank you. Kevin McCarthy. We've achieved record funding for the U.S. military, $700 billion last year, $716 billion this year, $738 billion. And you know, I'm a big believer in budgets, but we had no choice. We had to rebuild our military with all that's going on today, with China, with Russia, with radical Islam, with everything that's happening. We had to do something. And you know, budgets are fine. I love budgets, and we'll get to that. Don't worry about it. But we had to rebuild. Our military was totally depleted. It was totally depleted. And now we have beautiful new F-35s, F-18s, new ships, new missiles, new rockets. We have new everything. I came back with Admiral Brown, the United States Coast Guard, and some of the other folks, and they were saying that the new Coast Guard cutters, how good a job has the Coast Guard done during these hurricanes? And I said, Admiral, how good are the new Coast Guard cutters? He said, they're the finest in the world, sir. We have the finest, and they had old, broken equipment that they had to keep going on a shoestring. They have brand new Coast Guard cutters. We had to do it. We had to do it. There's always time for the other, but we had to do it. We've rebuilt our military. We've taken care of the great people that work in our military. We gave them a raise, a beautiful raise they were so entitled to. And I also got other NATO members to pay an additional $100 billion over the last year and a half that they weren't paying. They were delinquent. We're supposed to protect them, and they don't pay. I say, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to pay. NATO. Now we're finally making immensely wealthy countries pay the cost of their defense. We're negotiating with a lot of them. Think of it. We have these immensely wealthy countries, and they're paying for a fraction of our cost to defend them. How did that happen? And you know what the biggest excuse is? When I go to them and I'll say, King, you got to pay. Or Mr. Prime Minister, you got to pay. Or Mr. President, you got to pay. You know, it's costing us billions of dollars to protect these wealthy. You know what their biggest thing is? Because I can't understand how we did this for so many years. Decades. Decades. You have been defending all of some, I won't mention names because I don't want to embarrass anybody. I don't want to. Forget it. Some of the wealthiest countries in the world. And when I say king, president, prime minister, queen, no matter what I say, you know what they say? But nobody's ever asked us to do that before. That's the only excuse. Because I say to them, why would we do this? Why are we defending you? You're immensely wealthy. You compete with us on trade. We have lousy trade deals that we're renegotiating, many of them, and ultimately all of them. Why are we protecting you, Mr. President? Well, I don't know. I don't know. But you know what their answer is? Because you've always done it. That's not a great answer. So we're taking in billions and billions, but I got $100 billion, and the Secretary General of NATO, Stoltenberg, is my biggest fan. He said, until President Trump, you had to see the NATO cost of spending was going like this, and ours was going like this. We were defending many countries that treat us very badly on trade and very unfairly. We were defending them. And now it's changing around. $100 billion. They're not happy. And then I read where Obama is more popular in Germany than Trump. He's got to be. I'm making people pay their bills. He's got to be. You know, the day that I'm more popular than him, I'm not doing my job. The big story. They like him more in Europe than they like Trump. I think they should. $100 billion more they're paying. To protect America's security, I withdrew the United States from the horrible, one-sided Iran nuclear deal. We paid them $150 billion for that piece of work. I withdrew it, and we put sanctions all over the place, and they're a much different country, and let's see what happens. But I can tell you they'd like to get back to business because they're not doing very well. When I came into office, Iran was a real terror. 18 sites of confliction. They were behind every one of them in the Middle East. And who knows, could have been elsewhere. And I said, we're not going to do it. $150 billion President Obama paid, and $1.8 billion in cash. Whoever saw $1 million piled up as a promotion in $100 bills? It's a lot. It's a big. Now take $1 million and make it $1.8 billion in cash. I'm actually more impressed with that number than $150 billion. You want to know the truth? $1.8 billion in cash, and we got taken to the cleaners, so I terminated the deal. And I recognize Israel's true capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem, which every president said they were going to do. And I also approved for Israel the Golan Heights. And if you really think about it, I said to people, what's more important, the Golan Heights or the capital of Jerusalem by moving our embassy there? He said, neither, sir. What you've done in Iran is more important than both of them. I said, you know, I guess you're right when you think about it. So we've done a good job, all of us together. As a movement, we've done a great job for Israel. For years, you watched as your politicians apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America, and we are standing up for the people of North Carolina. You must never forget that the 2020 election is about one thing, you. It's true. Not about me, it's about you. It's about your family, your future, and the fate of your country. That's what we did in 2016. They came from the hills and the valleys, they came from the cities, they came from all over the place. And people were saying, these fakers back there, they were saying, what the hell is happening? But I knew it was going to happen because we'd go out and we'd see these rallies, the likes of which nobody has ever seen before, ever in politics. Ever in politics. A vote for any Democrat in 2020 And a vote for any Democrat tomorrow in North Carolina is a vote for the rise of radical socialism and the destruction of the American dream. We are entering this campaign with the best record, the best results, the best agenda, and the only positive vision for the people of North Carolina. And I've said it, and I say it loudly and proudly. I don't believe there's been any president or any administration that has done more in 2.5 years than we have, as a group, than we have. I don't believe so. When you add it all up, nobody's done what we have. Our first task is a giant victory. Tomorrow, right here in the great state of North Carolina, with your support, tomorrow we take the first steps to firing Speaker Pelosi and winning back the House in 2020. We need everybody to get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, and get out and vote for Dan Bishop and get out and vote for Greg Murphy. You got to get out tomorrow and vote. Together we will lift millions more from our horrible, horrible situations that have developed over the years. Look at what's happening to Democrat-run cities, every single one of them. We're going to lift millions more of our citizens from welfare to work, dependence to independence, and poverty to prosperity. With your help, we will elect more Republicans to Congress to create a safe, modern, fair, and lawful system of immigration. We will enact trade deals that result in more products proudly stamped with the 4 beautiful words, made in the USA. Boom, boom. Made in the USA. If you want made in America, I don't care. What do you like better? Made in America or made in the USA? Go ahead. Wait, ready? We'll go made in America, then made in the USA. What do you like better? Made in America? Made in the USA. Okay. So I think we know that answer. So in 2016, we had, in my opinion, the greatest phrase in the history of politics. Make America great again, right? Now we're within moments, hopefully, of having, despite what you heard a few weeks ago, maybe we're heading, they're going like, please, please let there be a recession, please. They're willing to give up their results because they think it'll help them win the election. They're not going to win the election. Don't forget, we're doing this and still fighting the unfairness of China and other countries on trade. What happens when that gets fixed and other things get fixed? We're setting new records, and we're fighting trade deals, and we're fighting military deals that are unfair to our country. Think what happens when it all gets fixed. We have ourselves a country that's going to be so strong. But we had a phrase, make America great again, the best. I think it was maybe the greatest, 2016. But we've done a lot, and now they're very close to setting a new, I think it's the 118th time that we will have set a new record with the stock market, right? Many, many times. Many, many times. I can't be sure of that, media, but it's a lot, okay? I always have to preface it, because they'll do headlines. Headlines, Trump didn't tell the truth. Oh, they love it. So I've gotten extremely cautious. So we had the greatest phrase of all time. I think even the fake news media would agree. Make America great again, MAGA, MAGA country, make America great again. Okay. Now, we still have a year and a half, a little bit less. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I stood in the White House with the First Lady that first night, and I said, wow, look at this. That's the bedroom of Abraham Lincoln. You have to see this. It's so perfectly done and so the way it was. That's the bedroom of the great Abe Lincoln. I mean, honey, can you believe this? That was the first night. And now, in less than a year and a half, the first term will be over. Think of that. I announced today that we got the Soccer World Cup. That's a big thing. Who else is going to do it? But we've got a problem. It's in 2026. Gianni Infante, who was a great guy, and we announced it in front of the press. And 2026. And I said, well, wait a minute. Under the normal rules, I'll be out in 2024. So we may have to go for an extra term. Okay? Oh, they're going crazy. They're going crazy. Tomorrow you're going to see headlines. Trump wants an extra term. I told you. He wants an extra. He wants an extra term, ladies and gentlemen. We told you. We told you he's a dictator. We told you. No. I'm only kidding. But we actually have the World Cup. It's the biggest sporting event in the world, and we got it, and that's great. We're working it also with Mexico, Canada, giving them some of the games. We're going to have a great relationship with the World Cup. It's a big deal, really great. Bob Kraft helped me, New England Patriots people. Great. Tom Brady had a pretty good game the other night, right? And how good a coach, whether you like it or not, I know you're North Carolina, but how good a coach, in all fairness, right, is Coach Belichick? How good? How good is he? Right? How good is he? I know you want to be cool, but he's pretty good, right? We have to appreciate genius. We all like genius. But we're going to achieve new breakthroughs in science and medicine, finding new cures for childhood cancer, and ending within 10 years the AIDS epidemic in America. That's shocking to hear that, but we can do that. We're going to do that, definitely. Incredible the strides that we've made. We will defeat the Democrat effort to drive up the cost of houses, cars, health care, and education by liberating Americans from their endless push for job-killing, soul-crushing Washington regulations. As an example, we're trying to get the car companies, going to give them a little bit of extra energy, and they'll be able to build a car that consumers can buy, which will be better than the car they make today, and you'll save $3,500. Think of that. It'll be safer. It'll be better. You're going to save $3,500. It'll be less costly. And we're going to try and get that done. And then they were forcing you to buy light bulbs that cost a fortune. So I signed something a couple of days ago that gives you the right to continue to use the incandescent light. And I don't know about you, much less expensive. I don't know about you, but I don't know. I'm not a vain person. I know I have no vain people, especially these incredible ladies in the front. But I look better under an incandescent light than these crazy lights that are beaming down on. But you know, somebody told me that, as you know, they're much more expensive bulbs, and for what you save. But they said that if a bulb breaks, it's considered almost like a waste site. It's a very big, the bulbs, the new bulbs. They're very dangerous with all of the gases and all. And I said, well, what's the point? What are you saying? Well, we're saying if we continue that production, they can buy whatever they want to buy. But you're going to save a tremendous amount of money, and you're going to have a light that's better. And there is a big danger. In fact, they have labels. Don't break this bulb. What are you going to do? You're going to throw it away? I promise I won't break it on the new one. So You're going to hopefully buy the new ones, but you can buy the old ones too, and you can save a lot of money, and you can even look better. We will defend privacy, free speech, free assembly, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. Above all, we will never stop fighting for the values that bind us together as one America. We'll be one united nation. We support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. We stand with the incredible heroes of law enforcement. Thank you, law enforcement. We believe in the dignity of work and the sanctity of life. We believe that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the true American way, like you. We believe that children should be taught to love our country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And we will live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." It'll stay there. We stand on the shoulders of American patriots who crossed the oceans, settled a continent, tamed the wilderness, revolutionized industry, pioneered science, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, put a man on the moon, and built the most exceptional country in the history of the world. We are great Americans, and the future belongs to us. The future belongs to you. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting. I'd like to fight a little bit less, but these people, they just don't stop. They just keep coming at you in waves. They are, unfortunately, not the best people. And we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We're going to keep on winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. America is thriving like never before. We may have right now the greatest economy in the history of our nation. And ladies and gentlemen of North Carolina, the best is yet to come. Together, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We're doing it. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, North Carolina. Thank you.
she was gonna meet.